Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The legislation before us directs $150 million to be spent on, I quote, activities related to the Nuclear Waste Policy Act. Well, for my constituents in southern Nevada, we know that that's code for build a Yucca Mountain Nuclear Waste Repository. After decades of losing time and over $15 billion squandered on this boondoggle, the current administration rightly said it's time for a new strategy. Our colleagues in the Senate understand this need to turn the page, which is why Senators Wyden and Murkowski introduced bipartisan legislation that creates a new system for the disposal of the nation's nuclear waste. Unfortunately, some in this body still believe that we should force nuclear waste created in their districts on a region that does not have a single nuclear power plant. When started decades ago was a law authorizing the study and selection of 2 geological depositories suitable for the permanent storage of spent nuclear fuel, this has now transformed into politics at its worst. With the passage of the Screw Nevada Bill in 1987, which designated Yucca Mountain as the sole repository for the nation's nuclear waste prior to completion of adequate scientific evaluation, the goals shifted from how to find the best site for storage to how to force Nevada to take all this waste. Science and common sense be damned. As the years passed, billions of dollars were wasted, and the misguided Yucca project changed from being a geologic depository to a man-made structure with barriers erected to attempt to mitigate the teutonic fault lines that run directly under the mountain, threatening the geohydrology of the area with leaking radioactive waste. The original plan was ill-conceived, and studies conducted over the past few decades clearly illustrate the dangers and costs associated with the project. Unfortunately, you can add passage of legislation to institute a new national nuclear waste policy to the growing list of issues that Congress has now failed to address. In the absence of coherent policy, I offer this amendment today to use the funding appropriated for carrying out the failed Yucca Mountain plan to reduce our deficit. Instead of wasting tens of millions of dollars more on an unworkable solution, let's instead meet our fiduciary obligations to future generations. At the same time, let us commit to moving forward with a new policy to address the nation's nuclear waste, one that relies on a consent-based system that doesn't force waste on communities like mine. I urge my colleagues to support this amendment and send a clear message that this Congress will not continue to go backwards, but will take serious action to address our nation's nuclear waste policy. I would now reserve the balance of my time.